What's up, Super Cool Nerds? Another edition here of Super Cool Nerd Nation. I am here with the one and only Dana. How you doing today?
Hi, I'm good.
Awesome, awesome.
Yeah.
I got an awesome Gryffindor cup from her. What do you got?
Flurkin.
Flurkins. All the Flurkins. So we'll get right into it. I've known you for about 4 years, maybe give or take. And we are just talking just beforehand. The first time I ever met you was when you did Huntress, but that wasn't your first cosplay, was it?
It was not.
What was your first cosplay?
It was a steampunk Tinkerbell that I put together mostly with Halloween costume stuff and kind of hodgepodged it together.
And why Steampunk Tinkerbell?
It was a friend's idea, actually, to do steampunk Disney, and she did Mulan, and we ran into some other Disney folks at the convention, and I had been going to conventions for probably 2 to 3 years prior.
Okay.
Before I started cosplaying, and I was like, I want to cosplay, and none of my friends would do it with me, and then finally I found a friend who was like, yeah, let's cosplay, and I haven't looked back since.
So you went to cons 2 years before, and so when did you start going to cons?
I don't remember when my first one was. It was probably 2013, 2014-ish.
Okay, so yeah, same time around me, because I did 2012, 2013, I believe, when I started going to cons. What was your first con?
Funny story. My first convention ever, I accidentally kind of wound up at Dragon Con.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Your first con was accidentally Dragon Con?
Yeah.
Okay, do tell that.
So a friend of mine had booked a trip to Dragon Con with a friend of hers.
Okay.
And her plans with that friend fell through, and she was like, hey, Dana, do you want to come with me? And I was like, I have no idea what this is. And she was like, it's going to be fun. Just come with me. And I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever, okay.
Wow.
And I got there, and I was like, oh, my people.
Wow.
Yeah.
What a way to start going to conventions, Dragon Con.
Yeah.
Were you like overwhelmed with how massive it was?
Yes. Yeah, it was like all over downtown Atlanta, like in all these, there was like a hotel complex.
Yeah.
And it was in all of them, and they were everywhere, just the nerds descending in Atlanta. And I had never been to Atlanta or Georgia. And I was like, what is happening? This is amazing, and I want to live in this little world. So I started going to all the conventions here locally, and it's been a ride.
Have you been back to Dragon Con since?
I haven't. I really, really want to go back to Dragon Con one day.
That's the most epic way to start going to conventions.
Right? I tell people that, and it just blows their mind. And I'm like,
God.
I know, it was the weirdest thing. And like back then, I didn't even have nerdy t-shirts, really. Like I had one shirt that said Bazinga. And I was like, what do I wear? What do I do? What do I do with my hands? What do I, like, there's so many nerds here. So
with Dragon Con being your first con then, like up before that, have you had heard of cons? Did you have like some inkling of them? Did you?
Not much. I spent most of my like growing up in adolescence and early college years trying really hard to be one of the cool kids. Really, really hard before I realized I just wasn't one of the cool kids.
Little did you know you were already a cool kid by being a nerd.
In the nerd community, yes. So it was probably towards the end of college that I started reading comic books and getting into nerd culture, and you know, all the superhero movies started coming out, and then I started kind of, you know, towing the line of maybe I'm gonna embrace this, and then I did.
So with growing up then, like when you were a kid, did you ever like I mean, I know you're a big Harry Potter fan.
Yes.
So did you read those growing up?
Yes.
So like, did you do anything else, like any kind of superheroes growing up, or?
Not too many superheroes. My brother was into superheroes, and I was like, my brother's dumb. I'm not gonna like what he likes. And he really liked Star Wars, so I was like, Star Wars is stupid. I like horses.
Okay.
It took a long time to realize, no, superheroes are awesome.
What about with like anime?
Anime I've never been much into, still not much into. I have a lot of friends who like anime though, so I'm like anime adjacent.
So yeah, that's cool, but I'm gonna go over here and do this other thing. I'm kind of the same way. Like I'm not Like Pokemon, yes. Dragon Ball Z, sure. Tokyo Ghoul, kind of, but a little bit of My Hero Academia, but I'm not really into it either. It's not my cup of tea. I like the superhero stuff. So
Yes.
when you started reading comics, then what was the ones you kind of first dove into? Did you go with Marvel, DC, Superman, Batman, X-Men?
A little bit of Marvel and DC, but I picked up more of the independent ones. I really liked basically anything that Image puts out.
Okay.
Has been really good, and I read. I think I started reading Buffy season 8 because I had burned through all of Buffy in college, and I sprained my left ankle because of Joss Whedon.
Wait, what?
Sidebar story.
Okay, sidebar story.
So I burned through all of Buffy, and one of my good college friends, who's still a good friend, was like, okay, when you get to the very last episode, come watch it with me. I want to like watch you watch it. So, it was heart-wrenching, of course, and I go to leave her apartment, and I'm crying, and it's dark, and it's kind of rainy, and I thought I was at the bottom of the staircase, and I wasn't. So I kind of just tumbled down the rest of the
Dana.
stairs. And I was really upset because I had a bag of ice cream and the carton busted.
Oh no.
And I was like, I broke my ice cream. Oh my god, I hurt so bad, but my ice cream. And it was a mess. So I will forever blame Joss Whedon for my bum ankle that I can now feel the rain coming in.
Oh, fun. And whenever a pint of ice cream falls on the ground.
Yes, it was Ben & Jerry's too. That shit's not cheap. But
No, what flavor?
oh, I don't remember. That was a long time ago. I'm getting older. But yeah, so then after I finished that, I was like, oh, well, there's this season 8 comic series. So I picked that up and read it. And then they had, Joss Whedon did Frey.
Mm-hmm.
And so I read that, and I started, that was kind of my, my segue into the world of comics, and now I dig them.
You say you go more towards the independent ones. I know of these two because one we've talked about, and the other one because you've done a cosplay of Rat Queens and Saga.
Yes.
How did that one just kind of catch your eye, or did someone recommend those?
I remember Saga was recommended to me, and Rat Queens, I don't remember how I got into that. I might have been meandering through the comic shop. Someone might have recommended it to me. I don't know, but both are big favorites of mine.
I started reading. I've never read Rat Queens, but because of the group cosplay y'all did one time at AllCon that I remember you guys doing. I've recommended it to my wife and say, hey, you should read Rat Queens, because she's also very much like, yeah, cool, you've got all the Batman comics, so I don't need to get any of those, but I'm gonna go to these like weird, obscure, no one really knows about these kind of comics. So, yeah, go for those.
Yeah.
Like one of them that she did was like the Monday Midnight Murders or Monday something Murders. I know there's the word Monday and the word Murders in the title, so there's that.
Yeah, murder.
And then Saga, every time I see like anything new Saga at like Hot Topic or something, like Dana, look at this, click.
Yes.
Just let you know, like the Lion Cat.
Yes.
There was a plush of one of those, and you're like, oh, I already got it.
I do. It's great, and I can't wait for it to come back from its hiatus.
What? Oh, is Saga on
The
hiatus?
whole comic's on hiatus.
Really?
Indefinitely, basically.
Do
The
you know-
writers wanted a creative break.
Okay, I can respect that, just because if they just start pumping stuff out without really giving a crap, then it becomes crap. So
Yeah. No, I mean, I respect their choice, but they did leave it off on a big cliffhanger, so I'm gonna need them to start feeling creative again soon.
So we were talking a little bit beforehand, like your first big cosplay was Huntress.
Yes.
Why Huntress?
So I was roped into a Gotham Girls cosplay group, and
Okay.
I was always drawn to Huntress, one, because purple is my favorite color, and two, because she's just such a like stoic, badass type character, and I'm not like that in real life, so I'm kind of drawn to those characters. I don't know, I like playing the fierce kind of badass characters, so I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do Huntress, cool. And little did I know that spandex was annoying and armor was difficult and molding leather masks to my face, but it was fun. It turned out really cool, I think, and we had a lot of fun with that group, and I've worn it a few times since, and just kept going down the crazy cosplay train from there.
How long did that one take to make?
that was a lot of new stuff to learn all at once. So that one probably took maybe 4-ish months
Okay.
working on that.
And like I said, when I first saw you at a con, it was with your Huntress. And when I started going to cons, like I didn't really cosplay right away. It wasn't probably about 2 years into it. But like every time I saw somebody with an awesome, I'm like, they're really cool. I'm never gonna talk to them just because I'm like I'm here and they're like way up here for me. But then I heard what broke it for me for cons was I had seen like pictures of like Matt Long and Jacob Long, and then I heard them speak, and I'm like, oh, Jacob's got kind of like a country accent. He seems like a teddy bear. And then I like heard other people talking. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
they're like me.
Just
They're
regular
yeah.
people.
But it's so intimidating. Like you guys were so intimidating to me, and I was like,
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, this is really cool. Like, oh, what do I say? Like, hey, I like your cosplay. Hi, bye, and then leave. But now here we are.
Yeah.
When you started going to cons here, what was your first con here in DFW?
It was one of the DCC events, the Dallas Comic Con events. I don't remember if it was Fan Days or Fan Expo or.
It was before 2015. It was Fan Days.
Sure.
Yeah, before 2016. That's whenever.
I can't keep
it is.
up with all their names.
Yeah. Did you know many people here in the nerd community, or not really?
Not many. I had gone with the friend who initially cosplayed with me, and from there we kind of met a few people, and every con I went to I met a few more people, and slowly I've built this wonderful community of nerds and cosplayers and my people.
So what other ones? I know you've done your Tinkerbell, your Steampunk Tinkerbell, your Huntress, and then I know you've done a Rat Queens. What are some of the other ones you've cosplayed?
I did Lion Cat from Saga.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's right.
I've
That's
done
right.
Spider-Gwen. I've done Negasonic Teenage Warhead. I've done Hamilton. I've done
Excuse me.
Zoya from Glow. That's a new favorite of mine. I have a little Hufflepuff outfit because go Puffs. I have classic Harley Quinn.
Okay. Yeah, I remember that one.
Elphaba from Wicked. Wicked. I did an Elphaba. Now I'm gonna have trouble remembering all of them. There are so many.
But you've done quite a few then in like 4 or 5 years then. Mm-hmm. Man, you just went right off the deep end.
Yeah, and I'm currently working on 2 new ones because I have no chill.
What are you working on, or is
Yeah.
it a surprise?
No, it's not a surprise. I'm not that secretive. So I'm doing Lucy from Disenchantment, but like
Okay.
a full mascot style costume. So I'm gonna have like that. I'm working on the head right now, and I'm gonna try to put a soundbite in it of the do it, so I can go around the con. I'm gonna be the new Deadpool.
Oh no.
do it. And then I am currently obsessed with the new Beetlejuice musical, so I want to do kind of a gender bent Beetlejuice based on the musical design.
All right. So I'm glad you brought up musicals because that's what I want to talk to you about next. You mentioned Hamilton. You mentioned Wicked and Beetlejuice. How did you get into theater? Did you like do it in school, like high school, college, or how did all that happen?
So theater was the great love of my life that snuck up on me.
Okay.
I was taken to some shows as a kid, but I didn't really get into it until the very end of high school.
Okay.
When I discovered Rent. Very, very late in the game. 10 years after it debuted on Broadway, I discovered Rent, and I was like... and that was the very end of high school, started college, and my roommate in the dorm was into musicals, so she was like, here are a few soundtracks, go ahead and listen to those. And I was like jamming out to my iPod on my way to class and listening to all these musicals, and Wicked was a big one that I was listening to back then, and it just took off from there. I took my first trip to New York City specifically to see Broadway shows, and now I do that every few years or so. I call them my Broadway pilgrimages.
Oh.
And I go to New York and just see as many shows as I can afford. And I love it. I go see all the touring shows that come through town, and I'm gearing up to buy tickets to In the Heights.
Yes, same. They're a little expensive, but I'm gonna try to get 2 for my wife and I.
Yeah.
But you got to see it in New York, didn't you?
I did. I got to see In the Heights in New York on Broadway in the original cast with Lin-Manuel Miranda. I have a picture with him at the stage door. It's one of my prized possessions. I have very long hair and a little baby face because it was from I think it was from 2008. It was a long time ago.
Man, 11 years ago.
Yeah.
That's when I graduated high school. What was your first play that you saw out on Broadway?
On Broadway was Les Miserables.
How was that?
It was pretty epic. Yeah.
How does it compare to the movie that came out back in 2012, I think it was?
So I loved the movie.
Okay.
I'm a big Aaron Tveit fan who played Enjolras, which I finally figured out how to pronounce that name because they don't say it in the show, but Aaron Tveit was doing an interview and they were like, how do you pronounce your character's name? And he's like, Enjolras. And I'm like, oh, good, yes, I have a frame of reference now. So I'm a big fan of him because he's a Broadway star. And Hugh Jackman, obviously. Really good movie, yeah. I liked it a lot.
What did you like better, the stage play or the movie?
I always like the stage versions better, always, just basically as a rule. Except they pulled the stage production that I saw, it was a revival, of course, and they pulled out one of my favorite songs, which was upsetting.
Aw.
Yeah, but that's okay.
Well, did you ever get to see Rent on stage?
14 times.
Wow.
14 times, yeah. Yeah.
So how many times in Broadway?
Oh.
Or up in New York? Because I know there's Broadway, but there's also all the other theaters around the city. So.
Right. On Broadway, 3 or 4 times, I think.
Any time with the original cast or any members of the original cast?
So the second or third time I saw it on Broadway in New York, Anthony Rapp and Adam Pascal were back in the show doing a limited engagement, so I got to see them perform as Mark and Roger, and that was really cool. And Tamira Gray was playing Mimi, who she was famous from American Idol, I think. I don't know. My sister was really excited to see Tamira Gray, and I was like, oh my god, Mark and Roger.
Did you get to see Wicked up in New York?
Yes, the first time I saw Wicked was on Broadway, and that was magical.
And then Hamilton, how many times did you see it when it came through Dallas?
I saw it when it came through Dallas. I tried to see it in New York and couldn't get tickets, but we saw
those
it in
are
Dallas.
next to impossible. So apparently the guy who was Washington, Marcus Choi, I think that's how you're saying his name, was one of the original cast members for Wicked.
I didn't know that.
I read on the
That's
little
cool.
pamphlet thing, the playbill. There was going original cast member of Wicked and others. I'm like, oh, cool.
Wow.
So that was the thing. I'm like, oh, cool. Haven't listened or read Wicked yet because I remember the book coming out at Walmart. It had the green out cover, the pages were green, so I thought it was pretty cool. So I picked it up, but
It's a good
I've
one.
never read it. But
It's very different from the musical.
It's on. Because my wife's also very much into musicals, so I have a playlist of musicals I need to listen to, Mean Girls and Heathers, and I listened to Beetlejuice. It was really, really cool. We're hoping to. I know it's gonna be probably 3 years before it goes on tour, but we hope to see it one day.
Yeah.
So you've done Elphaba from Wicked. You've done Alexander Hamilton from Hamilton. Any other cosplays from Broadway shows that you would want to do? Oh, and Beetlejuice, of course, in the works.
Beetlejuice is in the works, which is very exciting. I was originally going to do Lydia, but her costume in the show isn't very different. It's just kind of a gothy black dress, and without Beetlejuice next to her, it would look kind of nondescript. So I was like, I'll just do Beetlejuice himself. I would really like to do, probably a gender swap. Barnum from The Greatest Showman.
Ooh.
That was kind of on my remote radar somewhere down the line, and so many. I mean, I'm obsessed with so many musicals. I would love to do Michael from Be More Chill, because just so I can scream in a bathroom. If you haven't seen Be More Chill, there's a song called Michael in the Bathroom, and it's this character just having a panic attack in a bathroom at a Halloween party because his friend left him alone, and I'm like, I relate to this song. So that would be fun. I there are so many that I would love to do that probably wouldn't get recognized unless you have a theater nut like me, which were hard to come by.
But they're out there.
They're out there. Oh, I would love to do the little waitress uniforms from Waitress. That would be cute. I really like Dawn. Her song, all the anxiety songs I relate to.
All right, so if someone was going to get into theater, and you say, here, listen to these 5 first before
Ooh.
anything else, what would be the top 5 musical theater soundtracks let's tell someone to listen to?
As like their first foray into theater.
Yes.
I think Phantom of the Opera is a pretty good standard one. I'm gonna go ahead and throw Rent out there.
Okay. My wife doesn't like that one.
Oh, really?
I love it, but Chelsea's not a big fan of it.
I think if I picked it up today, I wouldn't like it as much as I did when I picked it up in high school. But
that's when I picked it up. Was after the movie came out.
Yeah.
And my friend's like, you should need to watch this. And I was like, oh, that's really cool. It's really sad, but I want to hug them all and protect them all.
It's funny when you go from relating to Mark and Roger, like not wanting to sell out and pay their rent, and then now, today, as an adult, I'm like, I get where Benny's coming from. Like, he needs that money.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
to be young and bohemian and to grow up and become corporate.
Happens to the best of us.
So you said Phantom of the Opera, Rent.
I think Little Shop of Horrors is a good one.
Oh, ever see that on stage?
I've seen a small local production of it, which was really fun. I would like to see a big tour or something production of that one. Let's see. It would kind of depend on the person, but Wicked. I think Wicked is safe to throw out there. And then I have one more left.
Yeah.
Ooh. All right. So if the person's like pretty desensitized, I would throw out Spring Awakening. But if they're a little more sensitive, maybe not so much Spring Awakening because it's a little racy.
Yeah.
But it's cool because that one is so unique because the writers went about it in a way that they were like, we don't want the characters to just suddenly burst out into song for no reason. So the songs are all like inner monologues. So it's kind of different that way, which is why I said it.
All right, for your final 5th one, would you, out of these 4, would it be either Waitress, Dear Evan Hansen, Hamilton, In the Heights, or Beetlejuice?
Ooh. Hamilton. Hamilton. Always Hamilton.
So growing up for me, like I listened to like Rand, I saw the Les Mis movie and all that, but I wasn't like I saw so when Sweeney Todd came out with Johnny Depp and Helena Bonham Carter, my school was doing the stage production at the same time.
Nice.
I don't know if that was intentional or not, but so I kind of got into it a little bit and then I fell out of it. And then my friend Cass like, here, listen to this because you're a history nut. So listen to Hamilton. But the first time she was like showing me these songs, I was tired and I was going like, yeah, it's cool. I was listening, but I wasn't listening. Mm-hmm. And then I'm like, you know what? I'm going to give this thing a shot again. And I listened to it. I'm like, wait a minute. Wait, this is actual history. This is like my favorite time periods, the Revolutionary War. So then I went just straight into it, and I got married now just Hamilton. So
yeah, you did.
Yeah, it was. By the way, thank you for what you, Megan, and Anna did.
Oh, that was
so they came to my wedding dress as the Schuyler sisters, and it was when I saw them, and they say, "Hey, look!" and they had their coats, and they went like this, and they were in the 3-color dress. So I'm like, that was one of the best things I had. That made my wedding much better. So
I'm glad.
Thank you.
It was super fun. We pulled that off like a week before the wedding. We were like, oh, we should do this. We have 1 week. Thank God for Amazon Prime.
So speaking of Megan, I interviewed her a few weeks ago. Y'all have done some group cosplays with her in See Noel.
Yes.
And you guys usually kind of circle around Gotham City Sirens.
Yes.
How did that come about? Was it just kind of someone's idea to say, hey, we should just do these, or?
So the 2 of them have been friends since college, I believe. And Megan basically is Poison Ivy in real life.
Yeah, she.
And Christina C. Noel has always really loved Harley Quinn, so the two of them had done those cosplays together. And I'm a big old cat lady, so at one point they were like, hey, you should do Catwoman with us. And I was like, yeah, okay, that sounds cool. Yeah, let's do it. And we did, Megan did, she goes by Tesla Isley Cosplay, right? Tesla Isley?
Isley cosplay.
Isley Cosplay? Isley Cosplay. She did Saga with our little Saga group, and she did Jefferson with our Hamilton group, and then Christina joined us for a Playboy Bunny version of our Hamilton group at the Alcon Bunny Hutch, and I feel like I've done a couple more with them that I'm not
I
remembering.
know y'all did like a biker version, I think.
The Punk Sirens.
Punk Sirens, yes.
Yeah.
That's actually one of my favorite ones y'all did.
That was fun.
Because I'm like, they look really cool, but at the same time, if I see them in an alleyway, I would probably just turn around and walk away. Because I'm like, nope, I'm not, nope.
It was so funny too, because when I was waiting for them to meet up with me, just by myself, I didn't really look like Catwoman. But as soon as they were with me, everyone was like, oh yeah, Gotham Sirens!
Oh, that's pretty cool. Like, that was, like, I've seen y'all's groups, and I'm like, every time y'all do one, I'm like, or you guys are going to say, hey, we got something in the works for, like, Alcon or whatever, and I'm like, I'm excited to see what they're going to do, because every time that y'all do one, it's just absolutely awesome.
Well,
so
thank you.
I was looking forward to it. I did, I remember the one time when you first did your Harley Quinn, I didn't recognize you. And then I think it was Megan's like, yeah, it's Dana. I'm like, wait, I'm like, oh, Dana! Like, it took me a second. I'm like, I didn't recognize you. You like really disappeared into that character. So that was really cool.
My job.
Yes, you did. So let's talk a little bit about Harry Potter, because when I walked in, I saw you had a giant niffler. I don't know if y'all can see it right there. There we go. How'd you get into Harry Potter? How'd that come about?
Oh, I mean, you know, our age group, we grew up with the books. So I read the book. I actually saw the first 3 movies before I started reading the books. Because in my trying to be cool phase, I decided reading wasn't very cool. Until I realized, no, I love books. So I saw the first 3 movies and then started reading the books. And so the 4th movie was the first one that I had read the book before seeing the movie. And so I could pick out all the little differences. But yeah.
World Cup.
And from there, read all the books as they came out. I've watched the movies a zillion times over. And just love it. Love everything about it. Most of my friends love it. We're all big Potterheads. I'm a big old Hufflepuff.
Gryffindor.
Yeah.
And she was so awesome. She even gave me, I don't know if you can see it, Gryffindor mug. Oh, I think I showed you at the beginning of the video. So, so with having got into the game kind of late on the books, did you get to go to any of the midnight release of the books?
I didn't. I tried one year. I forget which book. I think it was the 5th or 6th book. I tried, and at the time I was a camp counselor at a day camp here. And I went with a group of my fellow counselors, but the bookstore had just closed when we rolled up.
Oh.
And I remembered I was knocking on the window please, and they were like, no, you're too late. And I'm like, please, but it's right there. The display is right there. Can I? And they were like, no, we're closed. And I'm like, oh. So I went back the next day and got it.
Did you read The Cursed Child?
I did.
Have you gone out to see it, or are you planning to see it? What are your thoughts on it?
I would love to. I like reading the script, which I'm familiar with script reading because I minored in theater in college.
Okay.
So a lot of people had trouble reading a script, but I was like, yeah, this is my jam. But I really was just so fascinated because going through the script, I was like, how do they do this on stage? You know, I don't want to give any spoilers from the script if you haven't read it, but some of the things that happen within the text of the script, I'm like, those special effects must be outstanding, live on stage. I haven't seen it. I really want to, especially now that James Snyder is playing Harry Potter on Broadway. And
really?
I have loved him since If Then on Broadway. I'm showing my Broadway nerd again. I had a very sentimental moment with him at the stage door of If Then. So now that he's playing Harry Potter, I'm like, I gotta go to New York. But he's running a vlog, and he shows behind the scenes stuff of how they do the scar makeup and how he gets into his costume and his wig and everything. And it's really neat to see the kind of magic of how they make everything happen. So one day I'll see it.
They're coming out, I think it's in September next month. they're coming out with a like kind of like the Hamilton, but of Cursed Child.
Yes, I did see that. That's
So
awesome.
it's on my either buy it myself, wait till my birthday, or wait till Christmas. But I don't know if I can wait that long.
You're right.
Because it's like, okay, if it comes out in September, I have to wait 2 months. If not, I have to wait 3 months. But do I really want to wait that long? I don't know. So
Yeah, and me and a few college buddies just recently decided that we want to go take a group trip to the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. But two of
Right.
them are planning a wedding, so
Ah.
we have to wait a little bit so they can finance the wedding. And I'm like, but now.
yeah, you can always just go by yourself, or get like another group of friends and just don't tell this group of friends.
Right, and then go again.
Yeah, go again. Yeah, and be just a surprise, but know like all the secrets.
Yeah, and one of my friends was like, okay, but when you go, you have to buy the interactive wand. And I'm like, why would I not buy the interactive wand?
So we went to Wizarding World for our honeymoon, along with Disney and all that. So when you go there, if you're there like on your birthday or it's your honeymoon or just something along the lines of that, if you go up to like guest relations, they give you a little button that says honeymoon, birthday, whatever. So I got the button for the honeymoon one. We went to Ollivanders after we went through the Hogwarts Forbidden Forest ride. So there was like 15 of us inside Ollivanders because they only do 15 at a time. And it was my wife was in front of me, and then I was right behind her. And it was a witch, and it wasn't Ollivander, we had a witch that day. She was walking, and then she stops in front of my wife and goes, I've been waiting for you. I've been just wondering when you're going to show up. She pulls her forward, and then she stops, she looks at me and goes, I've been waiting for you too. I'm like, at the inside, I'm like, yes. So we go to the thing, and they tell you the whole spiel. The wand chooses a wizard, and she pulled the wand out, and she gave it to my wife. She waved it, thing almost fell. Gave me a wand, I waved it, almost fell. Then she switched the wands. As soon as I picked it up, air was blowing, the light came down, and I was like, so yeah, we got picked to do the wand ceremony. And
That's so cool.
And as soon as we went through the doors to go into the actual shop, I took her one, I'm like, we're buying these. They chose us.
Of course. It is
So,
easy
hint.
to sell things to nerds.
Yes, it is. So, hint, get buttons as your birthday. Just go to guest relations.
All right.
And hopefully, usually they pick a kid, which makes sense. But every once in a while, we'll pick adults.
All right.
Especially if it's
All
a special day for them.
My birthday's next month. I should go to Harry Potter World.
You should. And the butterbeer's delicious.
That's what I've heard. I need to try the regular and the frozen
Yes, we didn't get
for science.
for science. We didn't get to try the frozen one for whatever reason. I think because Chelsea she had a sugar rush. I think she crashed.
Oh no.
Really hard while we were going towards Jurassic Park. So she had to sit down. I had to run around looking for coffee. Couldn't find coffee, but I got her Coke Zero instead, which worked just as well. So,
Nice.
all right, another thing. Doctor Who.
Yes.
I know you are a Whovian.
I am.
Who was your first Doctor, and how did you get into Doctor Who?
I started with Eccleston, so the new series,
Cool. So
or whatever they call it. A friend recommended it to me, but 10 is my heart. David Tennant, love him. Yes, so good.
Tennant has my heart.
Love him in everything. Yeah, when his run ended and Matt Smith stepped out and was like, "I'm the Doctor," I'm like, "No, you're not." But he grew on me. It took some time, but he grew on me.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
I wasn't a Capaldi fan.
I stopped watching right before 11's run, just because it was kind of like meh for me. I mean, Matt Smith was okay, but once he was towards the end, I was like, eh. And then Capaldi, I stopped watching.
He was just
So-
too angry. But I really like Whittaker. She's cool. She's kind of like she's reminiscent of 10, which is why I like her. Their personalities are similar. They have that same kind of manic energy. So, it's good stuff.
Are you planning to do any Doctor cosplays, Doctor Who cosplays?
For several years, I've wanted to do a 10, and every time I go to a thrift store, I'm looking for the suit, and I'm never finding the suit. Like either one, the brown one or the blue one, I don't care, I'm not picky. I can never find it, though, in tiny girl size.
As long as we were a wizard, you could just like shrink it down, right?
Yeah.
Oh.
I even have a trench coat that could potentially work, but one day I'll do 10.
Well, awesome. I'm trying to see anything else. So the cons, you've been going for a couple of years now. You plan to go back to Dragon Con. Any other cons you kind of really want to go to one day, like maybe San Diego, New York,
I
go
would
back.
love to go to both of those. New York would be awesome because I love New York so much because one, Broadway, and two, my whole family lives there. So I
Okay,
would
cool.
really like to go
Wait,
there.
what are you doing here in Texas?
Well, my parents moved here before I was born.
Okay.
But the rest of my family lives in New York. But I would love to go spend like a week or a week and a half in New York and see family and see some shows and do the Comic-Con and like just have a whole little to-do about it. And I would love to go to San Diego, obviously.
Yeah.
One day. Although I have no idea how it would be traveling with costumes. That sounds like a nightmare.
Well, depending on the costume, you can either drive the 19 hours, or I think that's what it is. It might be less than that. I'm not entirely sure. Or you could just put a bunch of spandex in your suitcase. And
Yeah, right.
Fly
Bring
over.
all the bodysuits.
Yes, bring all the bodysuits.
That's easy.
It's a lot of fun. It's especially Dragon Con's on my list, and so is
Yeah.
New York. So I've done one that you want, and you've done one that I want, which is I'm still amazed. Your first one was Dragon Con.
I know, me too. And it was kind of wasted on me because I had no clue what was happening.
If you were to go back, what would be like some of the costumes you would take with you?
Oh, it would kind of depend on what I had made by then. Probably easier ones to travel with. Like,
So let's say if you were to go this year.
if I were to go this year, I'd probably take my Beetlejuice once it was done. I might take I've been really digging my Zoya lately because I've been keeping my hair at the right length to do the Zoya mohawk because I like wearing Zoya. And maybe, I don't know, maybe Spider-Gwen's always fun.
Okay.
It's been a bit since I brought Negasonic out. I don't know. I also made Tails from Sonic and Tails.
Oh yeah, you in a 10th Muse cosplay, right?
Mm-hmm. Tails is pretty cool.
Are you excited for the Sonic movie, or were you kind of like that's an abomination whenever you saw the original trailer?
That, but I'm glad that they're redoing it.
Oh, speaking of abominations, and like this goes along with Broadway.
Are you about to say cats?
Yes. So thoughts?
Oh, it's so bad. It's so scary. I wanted to like it, and I was just traumatized by the CGI. Like, I watched the whole trailer twice, and I was like, who approved this?
So as a cat person and as a fan of Broadway, it's a no for you?
I will probably see it just because I'm that big of a Broadway fan, but I might have nightmares that night.
Have you listened to Cats before?
I have. It's been a while.
Okay.
That was never one that really grabbed me, but I should probably give it another listen before the movie comes out and hope for the best. But
Do you know that it comes out the same day as Star Wars?
I did not know that. That was a dumb idea. That was a dumb idea.
They've got the same. Well, right now they have the same release date, but studios can always change. But yeah, it comes out the same day as Star Wars.
Wow. I wonder who's gonna go see what movie.
Yeah, no, it's. I saw that. I'm like, what? And first of all, I'm not a fan of Taylor Swift, so right off the bat, I was really kind of turned off to the movie. But then I saw the thing, I'm like, I might just go watch it just so I can get like really fucking drunk and see if I can. I'll see how many beers I can drink to get myself through the movie. So we'll see what happens.
I watched it one evening, and then the next morning I went into work and I was talking to my boss and I was like, "Hey, have you seen this Cats trailer?" And he's like, "No," and I'm like, "It's terrible. You have to watch it right now." And so he plugs in his headphones and he watches it, and I'm watching his face drop like. And he takes out his earbuds and he's like, "That was horrifying." And I'm like, "You're welcome."
Awesome. Well, Dana, thank you so much. We get to know you a little bit better.
Yeah, thank you.
So, where can people find you on the internet, on social media? There we go.
I have a Facebook page called Callua Cosplay, but I don't really use it anymore. But Instagram is where it's at. I go by DanaBeth349 on Instagram. And I don't have a Twitter, so that's kind of it.
Okay. Oh, this just popped in my head. I was going to ask you a little bit ago. How did the name Callua Cosplay come about?
I really like alliteration. So I was looking for something that started with a C to go with cosplay. And I was like looking at name websites. And Callua, oh God, I forget what language it is. It's another language, and it's short for like Little Beauty or something like that. And I was like, oh, that's kind of cute. So I went with that.
Okay, that's pretty cool actually. I like
Yeah.
that. We're gonna look at. I'll put a description at the bottom. I'm gonna tell you what language it is. We'll look it up after we're done with the video. So, awesome. Well, Dana, thank you so much. Go on Instagram. I almost said Twitter, but you don't have Twitter.
No Twitter.
Go on Instagram and see her cosplay. Is Beetlejuice is coming out soon, so I'm excited to see when you finish that one. Because if just go through her Instagram, you'll see all the awesome cosplay she's done. She's absolutely amazing, talented.
Thanks.
So, and I'm not just saying like she's right here. I'm serious. She's really really talented. So, awesome. Thank you. And as always, keep on nerding.